How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Fishing with Ty. So today's video, we're going to be talking about what tools I use for tournament prep if I can't go fish the lake beforehand. But first, the intro.
I've been working so long and so hard to get the first fish 22.
Okay, now that that's out the way, let's jump into what I use to prep for a tournament when I can't go fish the lake in person. So a few different things I use. Let's go to my other screen. I use Google Earth. So this will be the lake. I'm actually going to show you guys the lake I'm going to be fishing. You guys want to see this till the Tuesday after my tournament. My tournament's Sunday. This will go up Tuesday, and then you guys will get some of the tournament videos before this one actually pops up. So you guys will see how I did. So I use Google Earth because you can actually go back in time and see when the lake was low. Another tool I use is Navionics. I love Garmin. I use Garmin's on my boat. I actually want to get a Garmin trolling motor. I fully believe in the Garmin name. So we got lake map. Some of the lake is, isn't showing up. But that's why we have these other maps as well. So depending on your state, like I live in Iowa, so I can go to the Iowa DNR page and I can do printable fishing structure. So this will give me all the structures of the lake, all the man-made stuff, all the stuff that's marked. The different boat launches, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different boat launches. And also gives me where the deepest portion of the lake is. And the other one is a depth chart. So it gives you all the different depths and whatnot. It's not as in-depth as Navionics, but it kind of gives you a general idea. Like that area that we can't see on Navionics. So let's go to Navionics. Like this area here, which says crappie and flooded timber. If I go over to this depth, I can see it's 8 foot. I can see 4 foot, and it goes up into this shallow, like cove or the cut. So, yeah. I'm going to use all these tools to my advantage. Let's actually do this so we can have all of them. Enter. We'll go lake map, and then we'll go fishing structure map. So I have all my mapping. Now, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go to Google Earth. And I know a lot of people have videos out about all this different stuff, but I'm going to show you what I'm looking for and what I'm doing based on the time of year. So it'll be June 11th is when I'm going to be fishing this tournament. So we're going to be launching from this launch right here. And I know up to this point, back in this area is a no wake. Then you can run top end up to like here-ish, I think. So all this area, I can actually get up on plan and move. My first tournament I ever fished was actually here at Little River. So what we did, we moved up to this brush pile. First thing in the morning, we caught 2 off the brush pile almost immediately. And then we moved up. Ooh, what cove did we end up in? I caught 2 or 3 up in here. Caught one off a buzzbait. Caught one off of a horny toad, I believe. And then we moved up into, I want to say, this area here. We caught some off the main lake point right here off frogs. And then we proceeded to move all the way up here. And I think we caught a bunch off of frogs in this cut as well. And it turned out we got 5th place that tournament, but it was like 3 or 4 ounces from 5th to 1st. So it was a super close tournament. We were very competitive. And yeah, we caught like 30 or 40 fish that day. We just could not find that kicker fish that we were looking for. So what I'm going to do is first get directly above, go north. Oh, let's see. I'm going to start looking around the launch, see what I can find around where we're going to be actually launching from. And if we go north a little bit, I see this brush pile. And I'm going to see if it's marked in any of the map. Let's go here. So the only thing that's really marked up in here is gravel and rock, just south of that brush pile. So let's go back to Earth. And one thing we're going to do, and you need the desktop version of Google Earth. It's free. You can't use the web app to actually go back in time. Sometimes you won't be able to get, like when the lake's drawn down, but most of the time you can. So we're going to go back. June of 2020, October of 15, lake was still pretty high. Boom. September of 2012. If you look, I'll show you guys here. This is best case scenario for me, at least. If you look all up in this area, all this is drawn down basically to this road. So I will go jump 3 years ahead. All of this, I think the lake was like 16 feet down. But now I can really see everything that's all up in here. All the little, the creek channel running through the middle. I can see all that. I can see little brush piles out here. If there's rock piles, I can see them. Yeah, this was a bad year, 100%. So we're gonna go down and do that first brush pile here. So they're saying this was the rock and this is the gravel up in here. I know a lot of bluegill are going to be up in here. We're into June now, so like 70 to 80% of these fish are probably still going to be up shallow. A good majority, or about 20 to 30% have moved off into deeper water and kind of set up in that post-spawn phase. But a majority of these fish are going to be up chasing bluegill. They're going to be chasing the forage fish. There's still going to be a shad spawn. Crappie are going to be spawning. If you got, we have perch up here, so perch are going to be spawning, and they're going to relatively kind of use the same area as the bass. So the bass are going to kind of hang around where they spawned at, and get a free meal, basically, with minimal effort. So let's look at this brush pile. There's a nice little underwater hump here. That's just off the launch. There's an underwater point with like a little cove. Now if we go forward, all that's underwater. So now that I kind of found an area that I want to further investigate, let's go over to Navionics. We'll see if they have it here. Okay, so that's supposed to be 14 feet. Now let's head back over to Earth. Right here is supposed to be 14 feet. There's the underwater point. There's that hump, or well, that. Yeah, it'd be that hump. Then looks like a draw coming up to a high spot. Then kind of drops back down. So there might be fish staging here because that brush pile is right here as well. So they might be up in here because I know there might be a lot of shad and stuff up spawning around this. There's a little bit of rock back here too. Are those brush piles in the water? No, they're not. Looks like this is an inlet too, so there's going to be water coming in. Depending if we have rain or not, there might be quite a bit of water coming in. So this looks like it's going to be a good area. Kind of pitch and flip around this brush. If I don't get anything, I can always move out a little bit deeper with a deep diving jerkbait, a deep diving crankbait. I can Carolina rig it. I can drag a Carolina rig over this hump. I can drag a Carolina rig around this this underwater point. I can throw a jig around it because it doesn't look like it's really rock or gravel. It just kind of looks like a hard bottom underwater point. So I might spend a little bit of time here doing a little bit of offshore stuff. I really want to pitch and flip this though, 100%. It's going to move down. I know this is underwater as well. This was marked by, let's see how deep that is right there. It's right across from that point. So it's right here, about 10 feet of water. That might be a good spot to check out. Just kind of see if there's anything down there. And mind you, I don't have live scope or anything. I have down imaging and side imaging, so I can motor across this and see if there's any fish sitting on it. If there are, I might throw jerkbait. If I don't get anything to react to that, I might throw like a deep diver. Might throw swim bait, maybe a swim jig, just kind of let it drop all the way down and just kind of hop it and swim it close to the bottom. If they're close to the bottom. If they're suspended, of course, I'm going to be throwing like a bass candy jerkbait. So I might do a little bit of time in here, trying to see if there's anything up in here. If there isn't, let's try to find plan B. Looks like a lot of these are rocky, sandy points. There's a rocky, sandy point as well. It's a main lake point. Gonna move up a little bit, go up. We're going to go up the left side, then we'll come back down the right side of the lake. There's a nice rocky point. It's right across from here. Let's look at my structure map. It doesn't say there's anything there that's man-made. Let's go to... Timber... Wow, that's in... That's about 2 to 6 feet of water. The bluegill definitely going to be using that. There might be bass hanging around too. Well, if there's bluegill spawning, I know there's going to be bass hanging around. A lot of these fish, I think, are going to be using the main lake, especially those fish that are pulled off into deeper water. I'm pretty sure they're going to be patrolling around here, just trying to get an easy meal from bluegill or whatever else is using that point to spawn. So we'll kind of use this area. The beach. Looks like there's some little coves up in here. I don't see anything too juicy up in here. I think they got a few docks in as well. And they got one. Actually, let's go this way. They got a dock here, a dock here, some trees. Might spend a little bit of time flipping these trees. I'm not gonna spend too much time on it. Looks like we got a lot of grass up here too. Our grass is gonna be really, really key during this tournament, especially in the month of June. We're gonna be focusing on grass, rock, and trees, where these fish are really gonna correlate to when they start, because they're starting to transition their summer pattern, like I said earlier. So might do a little bit of dock flipping. I know we're gonna flip some of these trees. I might speed down these banks with swim jigs. There's a little pool. I don't think there's any way to get in and out of that pool though. It looks like there's a little bit of timber in the water. I'm not going to spend too much time in here. Really, it honestly doesn't look that good to me. I know it's probably going to get hammered hard. It's probably been hammered hard because it's a public lake. So I know there's going to be hammered. Why does my phone keep doing that? So we'll go back to 2012. This right here. It looks like this was a road at one point before they dammed it up. So there's a road bed that I bet you there's going to be some walleye on it. And I doubt, if I remember right when I was studying the other day. Oh no, they do. Yeah, walleye. The road bed, naturally. What's here? Construction. Modified by Navionics users back in January 9th of 2023. So earlier this year. Fishing facility. Rock. Okay, so it's just telling me the roadbed's there. 18 and 19 feet of water. Nice. So there's that hump. It's supposed to be 15 feet. Comes up from 21 up to 15. I might spend some time on that. I bet you these dudes using live scope are going to be on it as well. Because if I can find it, they can find it. I just have to keep that in mind. But I might spend some time on this hump, especially with rock and stuff around it. There might be a walleye sitting on it as well. I'm gonna have to keep that in mind when I side image past it or down image. Let's kind of see what's up in this. See a lot of timber. I'm gonna go forward a little bit. Yeah, definitely. I'm going to get up back into this shallow water. Because if I remember right, it said this was 8 feet, and right about here was 4 feet. Because I know on Navionics, it doesn't tell me. So we'll go over to this, and my lake map provided by the dinner, the possum cops. Oh no, I lied. Okay, 12 foot, 4 foot. I was a little north of where I wanted to be. So right in here is 12 foot. Up in here is 4 foot. So it's plenty deep enough. I bet you these fish are going to pull out of this area and this area all along here. Because I really don't see... Oh yeah, there's a little bit of grass up in here. I bet you there's going to be quite a few fish in here as well. This is probably going to get hammered hard during the tournament too. But I would just use like a creature bait, just depending on water clarity. I might use black and blue. I might use green pumpkin. After I show you guys what my plan is, we'll move to the boat, and I'll show you the different lures I'm going to use as well, or that I think I'm going to use. Main lake point, structure off the main lake point. There's a little bit of grass here too. Oh yeah, there's definitely going to be fish holding. Let's go back a little bit. Oh yeah. Look at all that timber down there. Holy. There's a lot of timber down there. So I bet you they're going to be hugging these trees as well, and on this on this main lake point. Is there really a secondary back in here? Oh, there is. So you got your main lake and you got your secondary. There's the bass going to be loaded in here. Seems like a pretty good spawning flight up into this area. There's a little creek up here. Yeah, they're going to be in this area, 100%. Because after they're done spawning, they're going to slide out here. Probably going to stage here for a while, and then they're going to slide back out into the main lake instead of along this point. So I might start up in the shallows and kind of work my way out and see where these fish are sitting. Also want to hit that hump. Oh, let's see what's up here. This is going to be bluegill hotspot, 100%, without a doubt in my mind. Mike and I actually fished Prairie Rose the other day, or about a week ago. And we found something similar to this that I ended up pulling a two and a half and a 3 pounder off. So if, oh, I bet you the fish come out of that. There's another roadbed up here too. Let's go to Navionics. Of course, it doesn't tell me. Move up a little bit. Rock and gravel. That's a recipe for bluegill. Is rock and gravel for them to be spawning. Yeah, so they'll be right off this point. It's kind of a shallow area that the bass are going to be using as well, and they'll slide back out because it looks like there's some timber off this side of that too, and around. Yeah, this is going to be a hot spot for bass as well. I want to get out on this point and hit it. Have a dock up here? No, it's just points. I don't think I'm gonna spend any time up north. If I'm struggling, I might head up north and flip some of them trees, but I don't think I'm really gonna go past this launch. I honestly don't see anything that except this area. I might come up in here and flip some of these. Let's see what the depth is up in there. 4 and 8. Okay, so basically the same thing as down here. And I know there's a, let's go up in here, some trees and stuff. Okay, so it's mainly gonna be flipping and pitching kind of day. Might get in here and flip some of these trees. If there is grass or top cover, I'm gonna be throwing a frog as well. But I think it's gonna be an offshore day. What is the depth right there though? 16, what's this one? 8. About 12 feet of water. This one's 8. So it's probably between 8 to 12 feet of water. Depending on water clarity, they are probably sitting on it. I wish Navionics would tell me right here. Bunch of walleyes sitting off there, apparently. Rock. Yep, a rock reef. So we'll probably do first thing in the morning is we're going to get up in some of these shallow areas and try to find a shad spawn. If we can find a shad spawn, we'll find the bass. But then throughout the day as it warms up, I'm going to move offshore a little bit and hit some of these deeper areas. So we'll go forward a little bit. I think in the morning, I might shoot up in here, depending if somebody gets up in there or not, like first thing in the morning. But if somebody heads up here first thing in the morning, I'm gonna head. I think I'm gonna head up in here. I'm gonna put a little bit of time in here. If I don't get anything there, I'm gonna shoot over, work some of these piles, work some of these docks. Depending on how long it takes me to do that. Actually, I'll probably I'll do that. I'm gonna hit this area. I'm gonna flip some of these, or I'm gonna get up into the shallows, see what's going on up in there. Depending on grass, stuff like that, I might be throwing frogs, a craw style bait, and a frog, depending how much top cover there is. And then I'll head into here, do the same thing, pitch and flip some of this, these trees and whatnot. I know there's quite a bit off to the sides. Some of these little rocky points, it's grass. But I know it's gonna hit really hard. But we don't get anything there, we'll move back down south. Depending on the time of day, I might actually head out and see what's sitting out here. So I think what I'm gonna do when I'm finished up in this area, I'm gonna head down, side image this, see if there's any fish sitting on it. If there's any fish sitting on it, I'm gonna fish it for a little bit, see what I can't pull off of there. But then we're gonna head up into this main cove near the campground, hit this stuff, and then we'll head down south. We might hit a few of these grass lines if it looks good, or if I see any commotion, I'll stop and hit it. But I want to get up in here, flip this brush pile, and hit this underwater hump and this underwater point right here. So if there's no fish up in here, I'm going to move out a little bit to that like 10 or 15 feet of water, whatever it was. Yeah, 14, 15. And do a little offshore fishing. I need to get better at it. I just really need to work on that. I'm a very, very shallow, aggressive fisherman. So for me to slow down and work this deeper water it's gonna take a miracle. So yeah, this is how I break down a lake, based off time of year, based off the size of the tournament, and based off of what I find on Google Earth. This will be should be a good tournament. And of course, just like with the military, no plan ever survives past first contact. So when I get there, if nothing works out, I'm gonna revert back to what I do best. I'm gonna junk fish. And I know it's a 3 fish limit. I don't think there's a size limit. There might be. But if all else fails, I'm gonna pull a Gerald Swindle and I'm just gonna junk fish. Frogs, spinnerbaits, stuff like that. So yeah. So that is how I break down my lakes. So hopefully you guys now kind of know what to look for when you guys are breaking down your own lakes, trying to figure out what you're going to do, whether you're just pleasure fishing or tournament. This will work out for you either way. But normally if I'm pleasure fishing, I'll just kind of show up and basically fly by the seat of my pants and just try to find a pattern. That's how I'm going to get better at fishing. But at least with the tournament, I have a plan going into it. I know what I'm going to be looking for. I know what I want to hit. But then, of course, plans change. So, yeah, now that we got the computer stuff out of the way, let's go to the boat, and I'm going to show you guys exactly what I'm going to be throwing. And I don't know if, yeah, I'll show you guys what I'm throwing, and then I'll show you what rods I'm going to be throwing them on. So if you give me a sec, I will see you guys in the boat. So we're on the boat now. Let's see what we're going to use for the tournament. You guys saw everything about how I do my homework when I can't go pre-fish the lake. So everything we saw rock piles, we saw main lake or gravelly and rocky main lake points that have kind of transition lines to them. A lot of trees. There's grass. There's moss. Big brush piles that are out of the water. There's a few underwater brush piles. There's a few humps I want to fish. And there's also that like L-shaped hump towards the northern end of the lake that you guys saw that I really want to fish. So I kind of give you guys an idea of what will be on the deck. So first thing I'm going to be throwing, or I'm going to be using, is my pitch and flipping rod. This is a 7-foot medium heavy Hank Parker series worm and jig rod. I really love this thing for pitching and flipping. It's a little bit shorter rod than say like my 7.6 jig rod. Shorter rod, a little more stout, and it's super sensitive. And I can really feel that bite, and because it's a stouter rod, I have a little more pulling power on to get them out. Show you guys what I got tied up here. I'm not sure on the brand of craw. If anyone watching knows this brand, let me know, because Mike just randomly had them in his box, and I used one last weekend when we were fishing Prairie Rose. You guys will see that video here soon. But I have no idea who makes this. It's a short, fat craw with big old pinchers that have a lot of movement to them whenever I'm throwing into trees or brush. And it's super sleek, and it just kind of flows through whatever cover I'm throwing it in. Got a quarter ounce tungsten that is pegged in a 6-cents 4/0 pitching and flipping hook, or a straight shank pitching and flipping hook. So this is what I'll be throwing in them trees and brush piles. Now let's move on to the next one. Set that off to the side. So on them main lake points, secondary points, the deeper rock piles, those humps, and the gravel main lake points, gonna be throwing a Bomber fat-free shad deep diver on my crankbait rod. This is 610 medium heavy, moderate fast, mock smash. Basically all my reels you're going to see are Lews, because I like Lews. They're cheap and they work. That's what I like about them. So I'm going to be throwing this guy along the rock piles since we got a lot of shad that are going to be spawning. I know there's a lot of crappie in this lake. There's threadfin. I'm pretty sure there's gizzard shad, so I'm going to kind of go with the shad color to kind of match what these bass will be chasing around on the deeper rock piles, transitions, points, the ledges, stuff like that. So I'm throwing this deep diver. You're wondering why I'm not throwing a HellCreek deep diver, because we don't have one that is like this. We are working on it though. So, deep dive crankbait. Next up, for my grass lines, my wood, my laydowns that are on the shore, like if you have logs that come out and just kind of like isolated cover, and grass, don't spinnerbait. My spinnerbait's a little messed up right now. I need to fix it. But this is a Terminator 4.25 with a skirt that I bought. I took the skirt that was on this, took it off, and put my skirt on, which is a chartreuse shad, plus a swim bait with its tail dyed a chartreuse green, and it's also garlic scented. So this is on a 610 medium heavy spinnerbait rod from Lews. It's a mock setup, 7.5-1. So we're gonna be throwing this around the grass and stuff. Next, since we do have grass and grass mats back up in them cuts, frog. You can never go wrong with a frog, especially when you get towards the end of May. From about mid-May up until end of September, maybe even maybe longer in the year. It depends where you're at in the United States. But you can't go wrong with a frog. I always have a frog tied up and on the deck during any summer tournament. That's on a 7.6 heavy shock rod. Of course, a Lews Xfinity speed spool, 7.5-1. And I've also got 50-pound braid on this. I think I got 15-pound on my pitching and flipping rod. I got 25-pound braid on my spinnerbait rod. And I've got 14-pound fluorocarbon on my crankbait rod. And I believe that's P-line. So that'll be on my deck as well as my frog rod. And then the last rod I'm going to have on the deck is my swim jig rod. Or, well, my jig rod, but I'm going to have a swim jig tied up. I've been using swim jig a lot lately. I'm starting to fall in love with it. Especially in pressured lakes when everybody's throwing spinnerbaits. I'm going to throw a swim jig. It's a little bit quieter presentation. It's not as flashy. Say like if it's super pressured lake, the bass are gonna start getting used to the flashiness, and so I'm gonna throw something that's a little less extravagant. So I'm gonna throw this guy. It's gonna have the 3.75 swim bait. This is the only swim bait I use is the striking 3.75s. Tail dyed chartreuse green, so it really catches their attention. And this is actually on a custom 7.6 medium heavy. It's an MHX blank by Rods for Real. Phil does an amazing job building rods. This rod was built for me and given to me as a gift from Brandon. So, of course, this rod will be on my deck, and this will get used quite extensively. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed how I prep for a tournament. Hopefully you guys learned a few things about the different tools I use. But yeah, if you guys learned anything or you guys want to use kind of the same tactics. Oh, and on that rod I got 25-pound braid too with that swim jig. But if you guys learned anything, let me know down in the comments. If you liked the video, hit that like button. If you want to follow along, you can see how the tournament goes, hit that subscribe button. But I've got a few tournament videos dropping. I think we were fish number 4. Yeah, so number 1 was already up. We got some miscellaneous videos in there as well. And I'm going to start kind of getting into more of the review videos, stuff like that. Because I've got a bait I'm going to be reviewing here soon. The Bass Pro XPS Big Glide Bait, the big 7-inch shad. So yeah. I think that's everything for me. So yeah, if you guys liked the video, like I said, hit the like button and everything. But as always guys, fish smart, fish safe, and I'll see y'all